Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Welcome to the Midnight Ball 2022 for the class of 2024. Tonight, we are honoring members of the Midnight Dance Club. The purpose of this organization is to host a ball honoring the members during their 10th and 12th grade years of high school. Without further ado, let's get started. Marissa Breeze Agloni, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Nassim Agloni, escorted by Glenn David Hale. Miss Marissa Breeze Agloni, Miss Sarah Young Allen, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Wendell Allen, escorted by Jackson Best Cook, Miss Sarah Young Allen, Miss Eva Marie Andrews, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Paul Andrews, escorted by Charles Benjamin Burkhart, Miss Eva Marie Andrews, Miss Lauren Elaine Barksdale, daughter of Mr. Todd Barksdale and Miss Gracie Barksdale, escorted by Charles Brady Elliott, Miss Lauren Elaine Barksdale, Miss Mackenzie Lee Bass, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James Benjamin Bass, escorted by Henry Marshall Popham, Miss Mackenzie Lee Bass, Miss Mary Carlton Baines, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alan Lawrence Baines, escorted by Charles Orrin Smith, Miss Mary Carlton Baines, Miss Lucy Ann Benton, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Benton, escorted by Arthur Benton Langley II, Miss Lucy Ann Benton, Miss Zoe Brook Bloomson, daughter of Mr. Barry Ivan Bloomson and Miss Alana Renee Bloomson, escorted by James Andrew Harrison, Miss Zoe Brooke Bloomson, Miss Caroline Adair Bowen, daughter of Miss Ashley Bowen, escorted by Jacob Carter, Miss Caroline Adair Bowen, Miss Ann Massey Bowman, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. David William Bowman, escorted by Thomas Monroe Lambert, Miss Ann Massey Bowman, Miss Sarah Catherine Bowman, Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. David William Bowman, escorted by Julian Watts Alexander. Miss Sarah Catherine Bowman. Miss Catherine Viv Brandon. Daughter of Mr. Charles Fraser Brandon and Miss Lindsay Herbert Brandon. Escorted by Elder Albert Glenn Thomas. Miss Catherine Viv Brandon. Miss Bentley Holmes Brewer. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Allen Brewer. Escorted by John William Lawson Gardner. Miss Bentley Holmes Brewer. Miss Elizabeth Barnes Brewer. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Allen Brewer. Escorted by John Robert Montgomery III. Miss Elizabeth Barnes Brewer. Miss Laura Burr Utah. Daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Farrell Mendelson and Mr. Jason Paul Buha. Escorted by William David Clyde Beavers. Miss Laura Burr Buha. Miss Mary Jane Wortham Bussian. Daughter of Dr. Ann Hearn Bussian and Mr. James Robert Bussian. Escorted by Hunter Matthews Keller. Miss Mary Jane Wortham Bussian. Miss Lula Clayton Byers. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William Oliver Byers. Escorted by Edward Simmons Sledge V. Miss Lula Clayton Byers. Miss Lauren Elizabeth Clark. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Brown Clark, Jr. Escorted by Worthy Owings Rich. Miss Lauren Elizabeth Clark. Miss Ann Oliver Coleman. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Nelson Coleman. Escorted by Arthur Phillips Cook IV. Miss Ann Oliver Coleman. Miss Elizabeth Mercury Colgate. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. David Lyle Colgate. Escorted by Henry James Sullivan. Miss Elizabeth Mercury Colgate. Miss Mary Mackenzie Colvin. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John W. Walton Colvin Sr. Escorted by Douglas Hurley Smith. Miss Mary Mackenzie Colvin. Miss Addison Francis Combs. Daughter of Miss Helen Combs and Mr. Gerald Combs III. Escorted by Jackson Ryan Short. Miss Addison Francis Combs. Miss Ella Cobbs Cook. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Richard Pollix Cook. Escorted by Wiley Burton Cooper. Miss Ella Cobbs Cook. Miss Kate Darden Cotton. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William Thomas Slack IV and Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Patrick Cotton. Escorted by George Edward Mange Jr. Miss Kate Darden Cotton. Miss Lillian Marie Cutshaw. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Ewell Cutshaw. Escorted by William Greer McDuffie. Miss Lillian Marie Cutshaw. Miss Eva Margot DeGarris. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ansley Hodges DeGarris. Escorted by James Gilbert Ward. Miss Eva Margot DeGarris. Miss Catherine Gray Devaning. Daughter of Miss Catherine Lindsay Devaning and Mr. William Woods Devaning. Escorted by Oliver Miles Blueston. Miss Catherine Gray Devaning. Miss Mary Margaret Durham. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Edward Durham. Escorted by Jack Benson Curry. Miss Mary Margaret Durham. Miss Marley Catherine Drinker. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Count Moody Drinker. Escorted by Andrew George Bidner. Miss Marley Catherine Drinker. Miss Madison Nicole Dobrinsky. Daughter of Mr. Stephen Peter Dobrinsky and Mrs. Berenice Gloria Dobrinsky. Escorted by John Alexander Hawkins. Miss Madison Nicole Dobrinsky. Miss Carolyn Elizabeth Dunn. Daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Walter Moreland Dunn. Escorted by Frank Daniel Poole. Miss Carolyn Elizabeth Dunn. Miss Mia Shiloh Duvdevani. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Lewis Duvdevani. Escorted by Samuel Fitch Stagner. Miss Mia Shiloh Duvdevani. Miss Alice May Estes. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alan McLean Estes. Escorted by William Love Chambliss. Miss Alice May Estes. Miss Helen Moreau Ezel. Miss daughter of Mr. and Mrs. J. Michael Ezel. Escorted by William Houston McNeil. Miss Helen Morrow Ezel. Miss Elizabeth Patricia Faulkner. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. David Lawrence Faulkner Jr. Escorted by Ricky Lloyd Whitworth III. Miss Elizabeth Patricia Faulkner. Miss Ann Lawson Finch. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Hunter Finch. Escorted by George Shaw Simmons. Miss Ann Lawson Finch. Miss Holland Sellers Finch. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Hunter Finch. Escorted by Harrison James Odell. Miss Colin Sellers Finch. Miss Margot Sims Fight. Daughter of Mr. Heath Fight and Miss April Sims Rogers. Escorted by Aiden Thomas Benton. Miss Margot Sims Fight. Miss Madeline Francis Freeman. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Donald Freeman. Escorted by Joseph Michael Green. Miss Madeline Francis Freeman. Miss Taylor Evans French. Granddaughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alan Walker Ritchie. Escorted by Reed Palmer Hollingsworth. Miss Taylor Evans French. Miss Catherine Gabberty. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Albert Gabberty. Escorted by William Kane. Miss Catherine Gabberty. Miss Alice Bellingrath Garzon. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. George Harold Garzon. Escorted by Ty Hunter Davis. Miss Alice Bellingrath Garzon. Miss Ava Catherine Gillis. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Sean Gillis. Escorted by Evans Matthew Oliver. Miss Ava Catherine Gillis. Miss Martha Evelyn Goldman. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin Shaw Goldman. Escorted by Jude Adafitz Klingon. Miss Martha Evelyn Goldman. Miss Georgia Grace Harrison. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Casey Harrison. Escorted by Edward Morris Holt. Miss Georgia Grace Harrison. Miss Mary Patton Hand. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Woodham. Escorted by Carson Lights Romero. Miss Mary Patton. Miss Charlotte Page Halco. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bruce Edward Halco. Escorted by Sellers Thomas Neuendorf. Miss Charlotte Page Halco. Miss Martha Olivia Holt, daughter of Dr. Allison Jones Holt and Mr. Christopher Lynn Holt. Escorted by Luca Popescu. Miss Martha Olivia Holt. Miss Addison Stearns Hauser, daughter of Dr. Joseph Henry Hauser III and Miss Catherine Wychak Hauser. Escorted by Fields Sumauer Nelson Mendelson. Miss Addison Stearns Hauser. Miss Cecilia Claire Hunter, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ryan Lee Hunter. Escorted by William Henry Huffman IV. Miss Cecilia Claire Hunter. Miss Mary Catherine Heights, daughter of Mr. Jed Heights and Miss Sarah Ori Heights. Escorted by James Lowell Hard. Miss Mary Catherine Heights. Miss Charlotte Duran Ilgus, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Paul Ilgus. Escorted by John Clark Sanderson. Miss Charlotte Duran Ilgus. Miss Langley Elizabeth Johnson, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Thomas Johnson. Escorted by Luke Douglas Christopher. Miss Langley Elizabeth Johnson. Miss Pearl Faith Katz, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. John Mondel Katz. Escorted by Kenneth Blackwell Robinson. Miss Pearl Faith Katz. Miss Marison Neal Curse, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Corey Smith Pierce. Escorted by William Alexander Henson. Miss Marison Nell Pierce. Miss Carolyn James Kelly, daughter of Mr. Stuart Andrew Kelly and Miss Kelly Newell Kelly. Escorted by Richard Hood Kinsall Jr. Miss Carolyn James Kelly. Miss Nancy Carolyn Kent, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Sam Kent. Escorted by Nathaniel Joseph Allendorf. Miss Nancy Carolyn Kim. Miss Savannah Renee Kumar. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. Escorted by Wells Hunter Finch. Miss Savannah Renee Kumar. Miss Ann Lindsay Lacey. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Anthony Lacey. Escorted by James Cameron Adams. Miss Ann Lindsay Lacey. Miss Mary Ganser Lacey. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Anthony Lacey. Escorted by Luke Thomas Johnston. Miss Mary Ganser Lacey. Miss Ella Suzanne Lee. Daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Murray Lee. Escorted by James Patrick Rooney. Miss Ella Suzanne Lee. Miss Harper Catherine Lee. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. H.P. Lee III. Escorted by Thomas Atticus Norris V. Miss Harper Catherine Lee. Miss Kaya Daisy Leibovitz. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Leibovitz. Escorted by John Connor Lyles. Miss Kaya Daisy Leibovitz. Miss Lydia Jane Luisi. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Joseph Luisi. Escorted by Henry Walton Lawrence. Miss Lydia Jane Luisi. Miss Caroline Kate Lyman. Daughter of Dr. and Mrs. James Douglas Lyman. Escorted by Andrew Pierce Snapto. Miss Caroline Kate Lyman. Miss Mary Catherine Malone. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. David Edgar Malone. Escorted by John Killebrew Roberts. Miss Mary Catherine Malone. Miss May Wells Martin. Daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Elliot Craig Martin. Escorted by William Allen Stringfellow. Miss May Wells Martin. Miss Amelia Frances Maziar. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James Edward Maziar Jr. Escorted by Jack Thomas King. Miss Amelia Frances Maziar. Miss Allison Jane McAllister. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Christian McAllister Jr. Escorted by Tyler Hayes Watlington. Miss Allison Jenny McAllister. Miss Lenore Borix McCauley. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael David McCauley. Escorted by Alexander Michael Bannon. Miss Lenore Borix McCauley. Miss Grace Elizabeth Meadows. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Zachary Andrew Meadows Sr. Escorted by Matt Mitchell Ellis. Miss Grace Elizabeth Meadows. Miss Madeline Elise Miller. Daughter of Mr. David Miller and Miss Shannon Miller. Escorted by Lee Douglas Roberson Jr. Miss Madeline Elise Miller. Miss Ann Tillery Moe. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Joseph Moe. Escorted by Wren Henry Emery Johnson. Miss Ann Tillery Moe. Miss April Mia Mondragon. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Oscar Mondragon. Escorted by Robert Edward Ritchie. Miss April Mia Mondragon. Miss Annabelle Sage Murdoch. Daughter of Dana Ferris Murdoch and David Sage Murdoch. Escorted by Matthew Benjamin Payne. Miss Annabelle Sage Murdoch. Miss Marley Noel Muter. Daughter of Mr. David Sparrow Muter and Mrs. Lori Lee Abercrombie. Escorted by John Coxwell. Miss Marley Noel Muter. Miss Virginia Wilkes Nichols. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Randall Nichols. Escorted by Tyson Barrett Schatz. Miss Virginia Wilkes Nichols. Miss Lana Jane Orr. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Norman McLeod Orr. Escorted by Harrison Fulgham Parker. Miss Lana Jane Orr. Miss Lucille Delane Pikey. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Paul McFadden Pikey III. Escorted by John Michael Sullivan. Miss Lucille Delane Pikey. Miss Margaret Finley Parkman. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Richard Dennis Kelly and Mr. and Mrs. Jason Daniel Parkman. Escorted by Andrew Hastings Marsh. Miss Margaret Finley Parkman. Miss Avery Brook Cornell, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Brent Cornell. Escorted by Noah Matthew Albritton. Miss Avery Brook Cornell. Miss Sarah Anderton Hassan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Brian Jeremy Hassan. Escorted by Daniel Baron Hayden. Miss Sarah Anderton Hassan. Miss Margaret Rebecca Pelagus, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. George Constantine Pelagus III. Escorted by Samuel Thomas Holmes. Miss Margaret Rebecca Pelagus. Miss Mary Catherine McGough Peterson, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Matthew McGough Peterson. Escorted by Jeffrey David Grisham Jr. Miss Mary Catherine McGough Peterson. Miss Estelle Olivia Petrus, daughter of Mr. and Dr. Theodore Petrus III. Escorted by Taylor McReynolds Davis. Miss Estelle Olivia Petrus. Miss Frances Nicole Military, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lee Anthony Military II. Escorted by William Michael Nichols. Miss Frances Nicole Military. Miss Mary Neal Pope, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Powell Pope. Escorted by William Carter Colvin. Miss Mary Neal Pope. Miss Anna Lydian Politzian, daughter of Drs. Maria and Vlad Politzian. Escorted by John Corley Littleton. Miss Anna Lydian Politzian. Miss Sophia Grace Rhodes, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joshua Rhodes. Escorted by Robert Weathers Wolfsfeld. Miss Sophia Grace Rhodes. Miss Eliza Stewart Rice, daughter of Miss Leah Thomas Rice and Mr. David Pryor Rice, Jr. Escorted by Wyatt Richard Swanson. Miss Eliza Stewart Rice. Miss Susan Lucille Ritter, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William Dow Ritter. Escorted by Christopher Lynch Yielding. Miss Susan Lucille Ritter. Miss Margaret McLean Robinson, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Robert Dugald Robinson. Escorted by William Turner Holmes. Miss Margaret McLean Robinson, Miss Hillary Lewis Rome. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Carrie Lewis Rome. Escorted by Sam Jones Carroll V. Miss Hillary Lewis Rome. Miss Philippa Judith Roy. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Douglas McLean Roy. Escorted by Grayson Stephen Heidinger. Miss Philippa Judith Roy. Miss Anna Madeline Ryan. Daughter of Miss Holly Ryan and Mr. Kevin Ryan. Escorted by Lucas Alvarez Shepard. Miss Anna Madeline Ryan. Miss Elizabeth Everett Sander. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Edward Sander IV. Escorted by Henry Hall Stalker. Miss Elizabeth Edward Sander. Miss Ada Evelyn Agrippa Shalacy. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Michael Shalacy. Escorted by Richard Gunnar Cromlin IV. Miss Ada Evelyn Agrippa Shalacy. Miss Abigail Elizabeth Sharp. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Victor Clayton Sharp. Escorted by Brandon Carmichael Lloyd. Miss Abigail Elizabeth Sharp. Miss Ann Bond Simmons. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Chad Simmons. Escorted by Thomas Edwin Bazemore IV. Miss Ann Bond Simmons. Miss Savannah Rain Simmons. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeremy Paul Simmons. Escorted by Edmund Tucker Crawford. Miss Savannah Rain Simmons. Miss Charlotte Dorothy Sims. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Philip Harrison Sims. Escorted by Grant Alexander Cooper. Miss Charlotte Dorothy Sims. Miss Lillian Ava Smith. Daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Macy Curtis Smith, Jr. Escorted by John Hightower Turner, Jr. Miss Lillian Ava Smith. Miss Mary Caroline South. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William Spencer South. Escorted by William Kathy Allen. Miss Mary Caroline South. Miss Emma Danielle Stearns. Daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeremy Stearns. Escorted by Joshua David Long. Miss Emma Danielle Stearns. Miss Samantha Greer Stewart, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James Stewart, escorted by William Michael Portney. Miss Samantha Greer Stewart, Miss Madeline Jean Still, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Christopher Still, escorted by Lucas Brant Schwepper. Miss Madeline Jean Still, Miss Ella Frances Suttles, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Thomas James and Mr. and Mrs. Sean Suttles, escorted by John Martin Donahue. Miss Ella Frances Suttles, Miss Olivia Reese Thomas, daughter of Dr. Stephen and Shannon Thomas, escorted by Colton Nathan Hearn. Miss Olivia Reese Thomas, Miss Greer Grace Thompson, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Paul Scott Thompson, escorted by Frederick Stephen Maldea. Miss Greer Grace Thompson, Miss Reese Evelyn Thompson, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lee Carson Thompson, escorted by Harry Franklin Bradford III. Miss Reese Evelyn Thompson, Miss May Helen Tomlin Toronto, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Ephraim Toronto, escorted by John Christopher Carway. Miss May Helen Tomlin Toronto, Miss Catherine Baker Hardiman, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Paul Clay Hardiman, escorted by William Colgate Gamble. Miss Catherine Baker Hardiman, Miss Lauren Catherine Velasquez, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Andrew Joseph Velasquez, escorted by Felix Popescu. Miss Lauren Catherine Velasquez, Miss Sarah Frances Walker, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Emmett Walker IV, escorted by Benjamin Baxley Camp. Miss Sarah Frances Walker, Miss Catherine Murray Wan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William Lowry Wan Jr., escorted by William Nolan Shaver. Miss Catherine Murray Wan, Miss Louise Langston Ware, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kyle Patterson Ware, escorted by Pelham Laguerre Homer. Miss Louise Langston Ware, Miss Lauren Avery Weeks, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Alexander Weeks. Escorted by Philip Abraham Mandel. Miss Lauren Avery Weeks. Miss Catherine Grace Watley, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. James Bushnell Watley. Escorted by William Patton Lisenby. Miss Catherine Grace Watley. Miss Rachel Claire White, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Perry Thomas White. Escorted by Camp Maddox Forbes. Miss Rachel Claire White. Miss Reagan Lindsay Whitworth, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky Lloyd Whitworth II. Escorted by Andrew David Wagner. Miss Reagan Lindsay Whitworth. Miss Sharon Elizabeth Wilbites, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James Madison Wilbites. Escorted by William Patton Hahn Jr. Miss Sharon Elizabeth Wilbites. Miss Mary Russell Wood, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William Copeland Wood III. Escorted by William Clayton Backett. Miss Mary Russell Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a hand to the class of 2024 Midnight Ball. Please feel free to stay in the room for the next 30 minutes for picture taking. And then we will, the kids will have dinner, but feel free to stay for another 30 minutes and take pictures in this room. Thank you, and we are done.
Congratulations.